With me now is James Kemp, Global Ops Manager for Parkrun Global. Hello, James. Good morning, afternoon, evening. When is it? We've spoken all day, haven't we? It's the afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Yeah, enjoying the lovely weather up here in the north.
Yeah, it's lovely and sunny today on the 5th of June, 2023. So the date is kind of specific because it's in around the time that the new Parkrun EMS system, EMS stands for?
Event Management System.
That's which is the new results processing system. Lots of tech wording going around. It's going to replace the WebFMS, which is Web Field Management System. Is that right? So lots of different terminologies. EMS is simplified. That's part of the reason I would say, in terms of the part of the decision as to why you've called it that, makes it a bit more explanatory. But what we're doing this afternoon, I need to get my time frame right in my head, is we're going to show the fundamentals of how it works, because it's been rolled out slowly, bit by bit, to the parkrun event teams. Not everybody's had it all at once. You've been able to manage it, but it's now got to the point now where most event teams are able to potentially use it. It's been broadcast and people will let know. And there's still a take up that we'd like to encourage. So would you care to show us around the thing itself?
Absolutely, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, as you said, last week we emailed the last of the teams globally. So that means every single team in the world has had an email telling them about it. The uptake has been a little over 50% so far, and that's with no, it's not mandatory to use or anything. It's like, hey, we've got this new system. Do you want to use it? As you said, we did it slowly. We introduced some testers and we expanded the testing, and then we introduced it to a few teams at stages around the world, so we didn't have a huge kind of impact on our support, and also we didn't have all of a sudden loads of users using it all at once and potentially breaking it. So we've stepped up gradually. So yeah, we're really pleased. The feedback has been absolutely fantastic. There's been no issues stopping results processing or volunteer management. A few little tweaks here and there, of course. Lots of good suggestions out there, which is we've added to our list. So yeah, at the moment we've got a lot of the functionality that was in WebFMS in EMS. And I'll run through some of those fairly quickly with you in just shortly. And we've still got a few things that we need to bring over from WebFMS. And when we've finally done that, which hopefully will be towards the end of the year, maybe early next year, we can look to switch WebFMS off and get everyone over to EMS. So that's that. So yeah, I'd like to show you now. As you can see, shared our login screen there, and the email address, the web address to go to is ems.parkrun.com. So it's nice and simple. There's a training version for teams that want to have a little play with it, and that's ems-training.parkrun.com. Same login, and you use the same login for this that you do for WebFMS. And so anyone who's got access to WebFMS and their events, they'll see the same functionality here. So I'm just going to log in here.
Keep your password hidden.
Keep my password hidden, yeah. And it's important to note that we've developed this so it's optimized for mobile devices. It operates on mobile phones, tablets, and laptops, PCs, etc. So it'll work on any platform. WebFMS did that. It just wasn't optimized, and it was really fiddly, and many users will know that it was just too fiddly to use, really, with having to kind of scroll and pinch and zoom and all that stuff. So we've made it nice and simple, and I hope you see that now. So when you go in, you get a menu, a little grid up here to the right, and it tells me that my current event selected is Marple, which is my home event, and I can change that. Many users will have just the one event to choose from, because that's the only one they'll have access to. Ambassadors maybe will have more than one event. If I choose select event here, you can see that I've got my currently selected event, and I could choose some more. So I can see most of them. So I could type, say, the first four characters.
You have special powers.
Yeah, that's right. So I could switch to Bushy Park, for instance, and then that's my current event. But I'm going to quickly jump back to Marple there, and then I am operating within Marple now. So once you've got that, you can actually see, this has been, we've got all the languages that we operate in now. So it's the first kind of software where we're fully compliant with different languages. WebFMS wasn't, and even the website obviously has different languages, but that's kind of different to our systems. So you can choose your language. and go ahead. Now, I'm not going to choose a language to show you because I might not be able to remember how to get back.
Get back.
Yeah. Again, there's a quick way to show your QR code. So when you're a run director on the day and you get your barcode scanner or your timekeeper come up to you and say, hey, I'm ready to send the file with the virtual volunteer, you can just bring it up, bang, flash the screen. There you go. You've got your QR code. So you don't have to have it printed out or anywhere for them to show it. You've got it there ready and waiting. So the main functions we've got here that I'm going to show you are the cancellation, the volunteer roster, and the results processing. They're the three functions that we've got in there right now. It's a lot easier to cancel events, especially on the morning. So if you choose cancellations here, you will see that you can choose to cancel up to the next 4 weeks. Typically, if you're on the morning, you might want to cancel there and then, and I'll show you doing this now. If you want to cancel sort of in future across the next year, then I can just load some more dates here, and you'll see that you get a year's worth of dates to cancel from, because you might want to say I'm cancelling on this date in the summer, and because there's a carnival and etc. So you can choose that. Note that you don't get to pick a date as in a date picker. You're only given the options for the events, that the dates that the event is taking place, the Saturdays for a 5K and the Sundays for the 2K. So I could choose to cancel this coming Saturday, and if I click that, then now we've just got a restricted list of why you're cancelling. This helps us with our reporting and our stats, and this is what's displayed when you see the cancellation page on the website. So I could choose today because there was the venue was unavailable, for instance, or weather or something like that.
You can't manually input things now, so you can't say there was penguins on ice at an event as people have done in the past.
And I know we've seen a few of those funny things, but which are quite amusing. But it helps us with our reporting. Again, if I choose an event that's got a cancellation, so I think Heaton Park's cancelled this weekend, and I go back and show cancellations, you'll see so you can see the weeks that are cancelled. So this weekend, Park Life Festival is up in Heaton Park, and that event's cancelled. So you can see that. And that's the only one they've got cancelled for now. So that's it. Cancellation, pretty straightforward. The advantage is that if you get to the park, you've got ice and snow or something, and the coast isn't available, you can cancel straight away, and it updates the website pretty very shortly, and therefore visitors and people can have a quick look and see what's on and see what isn't, and it's updated. So that really helps rather than using social media. Yes, Danny.
Yeah, but I put the camera on and put my hand up and said, may I ask a quick question? I don't think we said, in terms of the test website, the coloration is different as well. So that's quite an important alert. The one that you're in now is the live one, is the blur pool. And then the other one is like the parkrun pinkish color, isn't it?
It's kind of a raspberry type color. Yeah,
raspberry. That's right.
And actually, we've had a bit of feedback from that, because people are saying, "Oh, the live one now is red, and the test training one is green," which for a long time we knew was wrong. Really, we wanted green for go or red. Really, and in fact, the very first week that I processed results at Marple, I went in and it was green, and I thought that was okay, and I couldn't understand why I wouldn't get results, and I had to phone up, and I think Chris answered or something. It was like he'd heard it all before. Yeah, you're in the wrong system. You need live. So we've done what's right now. To carry on with it the other way around would have been carrying on a problem. That's how we're doing it. Yeah. Okay, so that's your cancellations. Fairly straightforward. The next piece I'll show you is the volunteer roster. Now this makes life a heck of a lot easier. Oh, I'm still in Heaton Park. Let's go back to Marple. There we go. So this makes life a hell of a lot easier for editing and adding volunteers, because you can do it on the fly. You can do it on your mobile phone, wherever you are. You don't need to go back to a PC, because adding volunteers and editing the roster and things in WebFMS was pretty fiddly on a mobile device. And so it can be done there and then, and respond to queries and messages and emails and stuff straight away. So you'll see, you go into the roster and you can see, depending on the size of your screen, you can see a different number of weeks for display. If I just make this wider just slightly, you'll see you go up to 3. And then if I click this arrow here, it goes forward in 3s. If you're on a mobile device, and I'll just do that, you see 1. And again, flicking through, we'll go one at a time. And also on a mobile device, you can swipe left and right to move a week at a time. I'll just make it a little wider so we can see the two columns I had. So this is this coming week, and you can see who's on the roster, and that's based on our template. If I click a blank space, then I can easily add someone in that space. It will choose barcode scanning because that's the one I've picked, the current date, and I can go in and find a park runner, and I can do this via 3 ways. I can type in their ID, so there's me, and I can click on this little green bubble here, which shows how many volunteers I have, and it will give a bit of a summary of what that person has done and where they've done it here and where they've done it elsewhere. So you kind of know it's the right person, or or they're experienced in those things, and you don't have to explain how to timekeep and whatever.
Yeah, the experiences. And for example, someone might be on 399 and having an arbitrary 400th coming up.
Maybe it could be an arbitrary milestone. Yeah. And then you can choose by the name, which is similar to WebFMS. So I can choose James Kemp, and it will show a list of them all in blocks of 5. And then I can use these arrows to go up and down the list, or you can choose one there. So I can choose me again, and there it puts the list. And the third way is the regulars, which is like the stalwart section and the regular section in WebFMS. What we've done is combine that into one drop down. And so you can see the regulars, and that's the people who've volunteered most over the previous period of time. I don't know how long that is, whether it's 6 months or a year or 3. I can't remember, but it's who's volunteered quite regularly. And then your recent regulars are people that have volunteered more recently.
I thought it was 6 months. I thought it was 6 months. I mean, the fact that you don't know, and I think I kind of know, we don't actually know between us. I think it is 6 months roughly.
I think so. But the idea is that if someone's volunteering regularly and they say, "Oh, I'll volunteer here," and they'll be on that list. Yeah. And so I can pick them, and there they go, and we can choose them. So we can select that, and I'll save that, and that person goes in green, and you'll notice that this little button turns to orange, or so I can save it. Now we could also look at someone who's already in there. So Jenny, for instance, if I click on that, you'll see that Jenny's in there, and I can remove her. And it also tells me that she's also down for a tail walker that day, so I can choose to remove from that role as well. I could also look to add tasks, so I can say she's also going to be a marshal here, and you'll see this little task label here. Now this is a little teaser, really, because this in a release in the future, we're going to be able to assign labels to marshal positions or any volunteer role, actually. So you can have, well, you'll see we've had some set up in testing in the background here. You can see here at Marple, we've got some places for our marshal position. So we call it the BMX corner. There's a little BMX track there, the hairpin, the lap 2 tree, etc. The river drop isn't the river drop, by the way. Don't worry. It's you're not going to fall in the river there. Yeah. So you can choose where they go as well, and then we can add them, and we can also clone. So you might, for instance, say Jenny's done the pre-event setup here, and we can clone that day for the next, say, 6 weeks, because she says she's going to do it for the next 6 weeks, and that'll automatically put it in for 6 weeks. Probably quite handy for volunteer coordinator, that kind of thing. We are going to make this a bit more sophisticated in the future, so we might be able to say clone on this date for 2 weeks or every other week or something like that. We've got plans to add little bits here and there over time. Once we've got all the functionality over, we're going to add lots of little bits to make life easier and that kind of thing. And that's based on some feedback we've had, by the way. So that's pretty good. So that's it. And then you'll save that. Wherever you see a screen and there's this burger menu at the bottom, that's a context specific menu. So it'll relate to what you're doing. So here you can see that on the day we can confirm the roster, just as you would in WebFMS. Again, we can save changes, which does the same as that button there. We can print. So here, if you're ready to print it for the forthcoming parkrun day, there's some options here how to print. You can choose whether it's volunteer name and then the roles, or whether you choose by the task name and all the people. We've got a compact and a full view as well, so we can squeeze it up a bit or spread it out. And again, we can choose the narrative. I'll show you the narrative in a minute, and also print the QR code. So there's a number of options there, and you can even choose your own template. Some events have their own template and call it a different name, and you can print by that as well. So that's the printing side of it. We can do our volunteer emails from here. So we can send out our appeal at the beginning of the week. And again, we can use, here's our weekly volunteer appeal at Marple. So this is our standard, and you can, of course, edit it and tweak it for that given week. And again, send just the same as you would in WebFMS, but all from your mobile device. We've had some queries why you have this little gap here, but when you're on a mobile, if you start typing, then the keyboard pops up, and so we've kept it separate, so it doesn't kind of run into each other.
That makes sense.
So that's why that does that. Yeah. And again, you can send your sorry, that's the wrong thing. Email again. Email. You can send your reminder, which you would typically send the day before or something, and again, choose your reminder to tell people when to get there and that kind of thing. So that's straightforward. And then the final bit I just want to show is the narrative. So here, this is where you can add comments yourself. You can also show what's happened. So if I show this coming week, who's added what, so people were added by certain people. So we've got various people adding things and who was added and what they're added as. And here we can also add a comment. So for instance, you might want to issue some instructions to the run director on the day. So James will marshal at the tree as he needs to leave ASAP, because that's on the first beginning of the lap or something, and I can save that. And you'll see that the narrative here will get added at the bottom. And you could choose to edit that, or indeed remove it. Yes, I'm going to remove that. So that's the volunteer roster. Very simple to use, very straightforward. I think the biggest problem people have is finding people by name. Clearly, if you've got lots of John Smiths, it's going to be a problem. You're going to end up, I mean, I think I had a look, there's hundreds of John Smiths. We're going to look at kind of tweaking the order they're presented in a bit, perhaps home, if it's their home parkrun, or if they're local or something like that, or if they've volunteered before, something like that, to make life a bit easier. But clearly, if you're looking for lots of John Smiths, it's a real help if you have their ID. If you're in a conversation with them, ask them for their ID. I think that helps. But yeah. Okay, and then so if we go and look at the results processing, which is kind of one of the big changes here.
The big one. Yep.
Now, when you come to a Saturday or Sunday morning, after your parkrun started, that top box there will be green and ready to, it will say create your event here. It's only available after your start time,
right?
Which kind of makes sense, really. And you'll see that you, as WebFMS asks you to pick a date. Well, now you just pick the event, because there's less room for error. We do get people that process results on the wrong day,
Yeah,
and we have to get into support and all that. So but what we can do is we can take last week's, and we can pretend we're processing it from the start. You can also edit. So I think here you can see you can edit the last 3 results. So you can reprocess those and make tweaks. So if someone emailed in and says, "Oh, I thought I scanned here, and and there was a problem or something," then they can put you in, whatever. But I'm going to pretend to do it from scratch, just to show a few features that we've got in there, and some of the nice things and nice user interface for editing. So if I
just want to make sure, let people know watching, James, sorry, that it's like when you add yourself into this, that you haven't been doing this for every previous weeks, and that's why you suddenly bumped up your run count over the past few months.
I think I'll be in trouble if that was found I did that.
Yeah. James just suddenly got to the 1,000 club all of a sudden. How has this happened?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to choose last Saturday, and it puts a little tick there, right? And you'll see it again. There's a little arrow. So the arrows here act like a bit of a wizard. So I'll click on that, and that will take me through to. And this is what you would see on a Saturday morning. You'll see your files that have been sent through with the QR code from the virtual volunteer. You can upload in the old way from the file if it's emailed in, if there was some problems. So if you've got your file sitting in your in my case, in my iOS files folder, or on an Android device on a drive somewhere, I don't know what it is on an Android, or if you're on a desktop, clearly a drive, you can directly upload the files as you've always been able to do. You can have a little look here at the files by clicking on there. So this was the scan, and you can see that Jenny scanned, and these were all of her scans there and the times they were recorded. So that's a good little visual. And again, you can have a little look at the timers and see that, and see all those. So and you can even download those. You can save those locally if you needed to do some manual edit or something. But we put lots of features in, so we don't think you really need to do that unless there was some massive error. Like you haven't cleared the scanner files or something, and you might want to edit and take a load out. Do you know,
okay.
that kind of thing. Yeah. So what I'm going to do?
Very hard to do. Sorry, James. It's also very, very hard to do now. Without in terms of clearing the virtual volunteer stuff, it must have reduced critical errors in terms of being able to visually see all that stuff, all the things that are being implemented in the virtual volunteer app. That must have made your life a lot easier. It does make your life a lot easier in terms of having to pick up pieces. Yeah,
we've seen a lot less support on those things because it prompts to clear on a different day for both timing and scanning, as you're probably well aware, having been involved at Surbiton Juniors, I think, for those times doing those jobs and elsewhere. Right, so if I just want to edit last week's, I can choose not to select those files, and that will take me into last week's results as they were processed, and so I can tweak and add. But I'm going to pretend to start again here, and I'm not going to finish it, by the way. I'm just going to show you some of the manipulation you can do. So I'm choosing the top timer file, and I'm choosing the 3 scanner files that came in. I'll choose this next arrow, and then you get presented with a familiar looking list, actually, that you would see in WebFMS, a bit neater and a bit cleaner, and you can scroll up and down that manually. Now we do have this little results map thing here, and if I click that, then you get a scrollable results map, which allows you to scroll up and down very easily. On a mobile device, if you swipe your finger in from the right, then that will drag that on, and then you can use your finger to go up and down it. So if you've got an event with lots of finishers, like a bushy or something with over 1,000, then it's a lot easier to scroll. And you can see faintly here, there's yellow where you've got people that haven't scanned at a position. And if you've got any glaring errors, like a barcode's been scanned twice, or there's a mismatch of numbers, then you'll get a red line, and you can jump to those and do that quite easily. So I'm going to show you quickly. So the most common thing that you'll do, and actually we're seeing that less as we're seeing people bring digital barcodes now. We're getting far less unscannables because people can go away and get their barcode, particularly if they use the parkrun app, the 5K app or something, or they've got it on the phone or whatever. And I've seen it on Garmin's and
yeah, I use my Garmin one. Yeah.
So so you can quickly, if you've got a list written down of positions and barcodes, you can click this add at the bottom, and it's a very quick entry. So I can say put mine in, find me, okay, and I'm going to put myself at 89, and add that, and then I can what are you, 489
482
482 find you, there you go, and I can put you at 90 and add. So you can see very quick, you can just go bang 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 if you've got a list. But like I said, I haven't typed in one for a long time when I've been RD, and I RD every couple of months. So yeah, I think we're finding that less and less.
Because most people, if they don't want to scan, they just don't scan now, as opposed to not being scanned or something technically going wrong. It's just because they choose not to. Yeah.
Or I might say to someone, go and find your profile or something, or find your last email and click on that, and you'll see it. So, and they can show me a picture. So that's a pretty simple one. You can do some selections here. So if you select, say, the number there, I can remove that one line, or I can select another number. Then you'll see that I've selected a whole group. And then if I click here, then I can choose to remove 5 rows. And again, with everything here, most things, you can do a little preview. So you can see what it might look like. Yes, I've taken those people away, and you can scroll up and down and see what it's done. And I can say, right, well, I'm going to do that. Bang, that's gone away and done it. Okay. Something that we get that's not really obvious is adding times to a whole load of times. To say you started the timer a bit early and you wanted to take off 30 seconds. I can select the whole lot just by time, and then I can time slice. So I can I can add, say,
Boarded out. Do both. Yeah. Okay.
30 seconds. And if I preview that, I can see, look, it's added 30 seconds every single time. And again, I can say, do that. Okay. If I wanted to go and remove someone because they'd kind of double scanned or something, or their kid had used their barcode by mistake, then I can go to that and I can just say set blank, and that sets that one blank. Or I can go somewhere else and say, actually, it wasn't that person, and I can choose to edit that one in particular. And again, I can see what's there now, see the time and position, and I can choose that. And again, I can say edit that, and I can find them. So let's just find, I don't know, let's find Tom. All right. Should be there he is at the top. So I can see that. And I can have a little look at, then I can just have a little look and say, look, let's look at his latest times. And he hasn't finished here, and his times are there. That doesn't look quite right. No, it's not him. Or yes, it is. So I can say, fine. I'm just gonna apply the changes there and save that. And there he's gone in. So lots of manipulation, lots of editing, and it's quite simple to do. One really, really nice thing now is you can have a look at all the changes you've done here. So if I say view changes, then you get another little view, and you can see everything I've done. So where I've removed someone and everyone's moved up, I've added all those times. I've added some people in. Yes, it's all there. And the really nice feature is, and if you realize that you've actually done something or want to go back a little step, I can say, well, actually, let's actually undo up to there. And I can undo those last 4 things and confirm it. And then I go back to normal. So there we go. All on a mobile, it can be done. It's all quite straightforward. I think it's really nice. And as I said, as I said earlier, the feedback for this has been fantastic, and hardly any negativity. Lots of really interesting suggestions that we're adding to a big kind of future list. But yeah, it's been
for now, yeah.
So a bit longer term is there's some chunks of functionality that are in WebFMS that aren't in here. One thing just to add here, actually, I didn't show you because it's when you start creating your results for a week, is you get the opportunity to add an incident or add some incidents, record them there and then. Couldn't quite show you because I'm not recording a new results processing, but it'll prompt you like WebFMS. Have you got any incidents to record? And you can say yes, and then you can put in the details, and you can add more incidents and then save that. What you can't do is view the incidents you've recorded, or indeed see the list, or record new ones independently. That's coming, I think, this week or next. It's very close to getting released into test, and that should be there soon. The other big chunks of functionality are build your volunteer roster, where we will have the labeling. That's going to be the next bit. And we'll release these as and when they're ready, by the way. So and by which time, as we introduce it, we'll put a message on the front page, say, hey, this has been released, this is available now, type thing. And we'll put it into kind of our ambassador groups to be spread out to all the events. And then we've got, after that, I think we've got the email template creation, and then the user admin. So you've still got to go and do the user admin stuff in WebFMS if you want to add a new RD or take an RD off to enable them to have access to this. But they're the things that are coming, and hopefully those 3 chunks will be around by the end of the year.
The core component parts are here. The core component parts are here. All the little things, but they're going to come. But the things which are fundamentally in the field, if you literally can scan, get the files in by 10:05 or whenever. Some events can be done by super quickly done with it all. And it's little things like not having to skip through bit by bit 20 results per page, bit by bit by bit. It's all the little things that make the user interface a lot more friendly.
Really, really friendly. Now, a few eagle-eyed people might ask me, where is the volunteer summary? I've not mentioned that. And of course, that's available in WebFMS. And we're reviewing where that's going to live, because it might be that it goes on the website, and actually it's available to everyone to see on a profile page. So where you see the partruns you finished, you can also see a summary of your volunteering. We haven't decided yet. We're not going to take it away. We certainly won't take it away from WebFMS before it's available somewhere. And then the final one is the contact part runners. And again, we're going to review that and see and see, because it's a bit restricted at the moment, because you can only contact partners if they've opted in to receive emails. And we need to look at that and see what's appropriate, because it might be that an event team contacting someone is an appropriate use of an email. But we need to do some work with data protection and that kind of thing to make sure. We'll certainly have a mechanism of doing it, but we'll also look at how often it's used as well, and whether if they do it through event support. But we'll look at that. But it's certainly not going to be ignored.
No, in terms of it can be handy. There's a practicality in terms of an event team needs to contact someone to say, we own something of, or you've left something behind that you've had, or you've taken a token back home with you. Could you return it? Obviously, if they aren't able to communicate otherwise, but of course, there's a potential for people to abuse that system. So you have to be aware of that as well. But that's obviously what's going through your mind. Yeah.
Cool. So there's a really quick sort of whistle stop tour round. I just wanted to kind of demonstrate, rather than it be a tutoring exercise, a demonstration, so people could see what is there. It's pretty intuitive, so they can go and have a look, and then see for themselves, because it's all well and good sort of being tutored on it all, but they might not do something for 6 months and then
play, right? And the email address for the test site is
the website is ems.parkrun.com.
ems.parkrun.com. I'm just going to bring this up as well, so people can sort of like just double check that I've done that.
And training's quite good. They can go and play with that. So it's
ems.parkrun.com.
And EMS
that's the main one.
Yep.
And EMS hyphen.
Training.parkrun.com.
Yeah. I hope this is right. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There you go. Superb. Go play and learn the system, right? Go play with it.
Yeah. Just a quick mention. So we haven't produced a guide, which is quite controversial, because people say, "Hey, where's the guide? I need the guide." But who uses a guide?
Long, right?
Who uses a guide? It'll be 100 pages long. Yeah. We'd have to translate it as we introduce new functionality, and we adapt, and we add little bits of feature requests and all that stuff. We'd have to update it in all the languages. And actually, we've tried to make this really, really intuitive. And Alan, who's developed it, which I really need to mention, he's done a fantastic job here. And he was at, and Alan, because he developed WebFMS.
Yeah, Alan Dempster up in Glasgow. Yeah, who was the person who, as you just mentioned there, he made the original WebFMS. Credit to him.
Well, he said to us a few months ago, because we were chatting to him, and he said, "Look, I've been learning this developing this software in this thing, and I've used WebFMS as a practice." And Ian and I were like, "Oh, okay." And he says, "Well, actually, I've got something to show you." And he pretty much showed us the results processing stuff, and Ian and I were blown away. It was just, so, as you can see, yes, it's moved on a little bit from what he showed us, but and so we basically took it from there. Because it was always on the cards that we needed to do this, and so we've been working with him for kind of 6-9 months to get to this point, and like I say, we're optimistic that we'll be in a position to at least have everything moved over from at the end of this year, early next year, and then we can look at turning WebFMS off, which might be a scary prospect for some, but we're certainly hopeful of that. So yeah, really good. And thanks for the opportunity for me to show it to you, and for people to look at it and hopefully realize that let's go and try it. Let's go and have a go.
Yeah. I'm a big advocate. Absolutely. All good things come to those who wait, in terms of that people have been asking for this in some form, an update. The WebFMS has worked for a long time, but it needed an update. Be able to devote time and resource to it has finally been able to be done. And if you'd asked us 15 years ago how the system worked, in terms of you'd have people using their smartphones to scan people's barcodes live in the field and then process results live in the field, when old school parkrunners would just be sat there uploading the data onto a laptop before manually having to input it's come on leaps and bounds. And it's fantastic to watch that evolution. I'm sure the evolution won't stop here either. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more new things as technology evolves and parkrun has got great capabilities. But thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you about it, because I'm just as fascinated. I'm a big advocate of these positive changes too, and I'm just glad that we can try and showcase it to people, like I say, and get that 50% up to a little bit higher, and hopefully, obviously, 100% by at some stage.
Well, I'm sure it will come. And when, I mean, I'm seeing results processed now with literally within seconds of the tail walker crossing the line, and and that's a brilliant thing. So you know, you can basically pack up your stuff, do that, and then go and enjoy your coffee without having to get your head into a computer while everyone else is having a chat around you. Fantastic.
Yeah, just caveating. I don't mean encourage. I don't mean to try and encourage people to get quicker. Once tail walk is finished, no hustling people along, because that's something that I said on Twitter recently. Yeah, take your time, but in terms of in terms of time functionality, the fact the possibility is there that someone can just be ready and go boom. I don't think many chip time races produce results as fast as what this is capable of doing. So it's quite miraculous, and it keeps a human element. Human engagement element that you're not automating anything. There's still that human engagement that is kept, which is part and parcel and fundamental to parkrun's ethics.
That's very important. And I know you're a huge advocate of the barcode scanner role and the timekeeper role being people and not things, because be it chip timing or whatever, because it's that interaction. Well, it gives people a job and something to do, and it's that interaction with everyone. It's part of the community. So
not everybody wants to run either. Some people just want to be there and take part as a volunteer too. So brilliant. Right. Absolutely. 36 minutes. So much for the 50-20 minutes we hope, but that's good. I'm sure people will watch it all the way through one way. I'm sure they might skip a few bits and pieces. They'll skip a few bits and pieces, but most people who have got a vested interest to watch all the way through should have dangled a carrot to say, wait till the end to see something really hilarious, and then just lie and just bluff them and go on. Anyway, right, I'm going to hit end record now. I'll upload this to Facebook, YouTube. So if you've been watching it, if you enjoyed it, if it's been useful, guys, give us a thumbs up and a like and all the usual stuff. And hopefully event teams will share it to the people going forward. And it's a handy resource for future times. Thank you for your time, James. And I will see you soon.
See you soon.